Introduction to Conditions. This chapter focuses solely on the theoretical foundations of conditions in Power Automate. Understanding these concepts is crucial for grasping how conditional logic operates within workflows. In the subsequent practical chapters, we will explore the hands-on implementation of each point discussed here, allowing you to apply these concepts effectively in real-world scenarios. Power Automate, part of Microsoft's Power Platform, allows users to automate workflows between different applications and services. One of its core features is the ability to make decisions within these workflows using conditional logic. This enables you to create dynamic, flexible processes that respond differently based on specific criteria or data inputs. In this section, we'll delve into what conditions are, why they are essential for building intelligent automation, and how simple and complex conditions differ. Definition of a condition. In its most basic form, a condition in Power Automate is a logical decision point in a flow that evaluates whether a given statement or set of criteria is true or false. A condition can check if a specified value exceeds a certain threshold, or if a particular text exists within a field. Depending on the outcome of this evaluation, the flow either continues down one path if true, or another if false. Conditions act as decision gates. They are the flow's way of branching out and controlling which subsequent actions or steps are executed based on the current state of data or user input. In technical terms, a condition works similarly to an if-else statement in programming. For example, if the specified condition is met, true, the flow will proceed to execute a certain set of actions. For example, else, if the condition is not met, false, the flow can either execute an alternative action or do nothing, depending on how it's configured. For example, consider an email automation scenario. For example, if the response to a form is approved, then send a notification to the requester. Else, notify the manager for further review. Conditions help create flows that aren't just linear, but can adapt and respond to real-time inputs or changing data. Importance of conditional logic in flows. Conditional logic is at the heart of creating intelligent, dynamic workflows in Power Automate. Without conditions, flows would execute the same sequence of actions every time, regardless of the situation, which would be inefficient and limited. By incorporating conditions, you make your flows reactive and context-sensitive, allowing them to adapt based on data, events, or user inputs. Key reasons why conditions are essential in Power Automate include enhanced flexibility. For example, with conditions, you can automate complex decision-making processes. If you're creating an approval workflow, for example, you can define multiple approval paths depending on the value of a request. You could send a request to a supervisor if the amount is under $1,000, or escalate it to upper management if it exceeds that amount. Efficient automation. For example, conditions help streamline automation by preventing unnecessary actions. In an email processing flow, you could use a condition to check if an email meets certain criteria, like containing a keyword or being from a specific sender, before performing an action, such as forwarding it. Without conditions, every email would trigger the same set of actions, creating inefficiencies. User experience improvement. For example, workflows that adjust based on conditions offer a better experience. In customer support workflows, you could use conditions to route high-priority issues to specific agents, ensuring faster response times. This not only improves service quality but also optimizes resource allocation. Error prevention. For example, conditions allow for built-in checks within a flow. You can use them to verify that certain preconditions are met before executing actions, reducing the chance of errors. For example, a flow could check whether a required field is filled before proceeding with a database update. Increased control over processes. For example, conditional logic gives you control over complex workflows by ensuring that actions are only taken when they are truly needed. You might have a flow that updates records only if certain data points have changed, preventing unnecessary updates and database clutter. Difference between simple and complex conditions. In Power Automate, conditions can range from simple to complex, depending on how many criteria you need to evaluate and how these criteria are combined. Understanding this difference is crucial for designing efficient flows, particularly as the complexity of your automation increases. Simple conditions. A simple condition evaluates a single criterion to determine whether it is true or false. This is the most basic form of a condition and is often sufficient for straightforward flows. For example, in a simple condition, if an email's subject line contains the word urgent, forward it to the manager. In this case, the flow only checks one condition, whether the subject line contains the specified word, and then acts accordingly. Simple conditions are easy to set up and maintain, but may become limiting when more complex decision-making is needed. Complex conditions. A complex condition involves evaluating multiple criteria, often using logical operators like AND and OR. These conditions allow for more granular decision-making and can handle a wider range of scenarios by combining multiple evaluations into one condition. For example, consider a complex condition. If the purchase amount is greater than $1,000, and the request is made by a department head, send it for approval to the director. In this case, the condition involves two criteria. The purchase amount must be greater than $1,000. The requester must be a department head. Both criteria must be true for the flow to proceed with sending the approval to the director. This is an example of using the AND logical operator. Complex conditions can also use the OR operator, where only one of the criteria needs to be true for the flow to continue. If the user's region is Europe or Asia, apply a regional discount. In this example, the condition checks if the user is from either region. If either condition is true, the discount is applied. By understanding the difference between simple and complex conditions, you can better tailor your flows to handle both straightforward and intricate business processes. Simple conditions are easy to use and ideal for basic flows, while complex conditions provide the flexibility needed for more sophisticated workflows, allowing multiple variables to be considered simultaneously.